Welcome to the December 22nd, 2020 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the staccato podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is...
22nd, 2020, 22nd, 2020. It's weird.
Two.
I mean, Lotus Prince.
And we have a lot to discuss this week, so I'm just gonna, go right into it. No, foppery. No tomfoolery.
No hokery pokery.
No dickory dock. A lot happened with Cyberpunk this week. Probably the most, the worst botched game since Sin. I can't think of a game that was botched this bad.
Well, nobody was looking forward to Sin. I mean, the thing is, No Man's Sky
has
is
the only thing that...
on Twitter because people are comparing the launch to that.
Yeah, but No Man's Sky worked. It just worked.
Yeah, it wasn't at all what was advertised, but
yeah,
it worked. It just was lame and disappointing.
Well,
Cyberpunk,
the problem
depending on what platform you have, may or may not work.
No Man's Sky was that was a communication problem. They did not communicate that those features would be coming later. They promised features that were not in the base game, but they didn't specifically say that they were still working on it. And the game, the way it is now, is much different.
Yeah, it's actually a legitimately interesting game.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's actually a really cool game. If it had launched that way, everybody would have been fucking happy, but it would have taken them many more years. This maybe Fallout 76, but still, this that wasn't anticipated like this was.
It kind of was, though. Well, not to the same degree, but it was highly
Nobody was
anticipated.
thinking that this was going to be the biggest game of that year.
No, but it's the cool new Fallout game, though.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Fallout 76 was not in development for 9 years, was it, or whatever?
I think it's 7,
8. Because Cyberpunk was in development forever. People have been waiting for it and chomping at the bit. Fallout 76 didn't have that build-up, but people were like, oh, new Fallout! And then there was nothing.
The only other thing that I can think of is maybe Anthem. Anthem probably had just
that
as
one
bad.
Just kind of disappeared.
Mass Effect Andromeda had a really bad launch, too.
Yeah, and that's another game that's apparently pretty okay, but that launch was ugly.
Yeah, but this is apparently a good game, but runs terribly. A lot of people say the story is good from their perspective. The dialogue is great.
I heard the game's pretty good, but the problem is it's
it only runs on one type of system.
It's so bad on PS4 that at first CD Projekt Red announced that they would offer refunds for it, and when people tried actually getting the refunds,
they couldn't get them. Yeah,
Sony was like, "Oh, well, we patched it, so we're not going to give you refunds," which is horseshit. But after a while, Sony outright delisted it from the PlayStation Network.
I've never seen that before. This game is such a bad thing to them that they are delisting it until it works properly.
Yeah, I've heard of other platforms delisting things. Afro Samurai disappeared from Steam. What was it called? Ride to Hell Retribution was delisted from Steam.
This is nothing of that.
Yeah,
that
this is a AAA title that's been anticipated forever on the PlayStation Network.
It was supposed to be the biggest game of the year. It was supposed to be the biggest game of the year.
This does not happen.
This is... I've never seen this. Something of... maybe Final Fantasy 14 was the original version of it.
Yeah, but that wasn't delisted, though, was it?
No, nothing to this scale. This is really bad. They released this in a completely unfinished state to an audience, the only people who can play it are high-end, hardware owners, which is a small fraction of their audience. Probably doesn't even make up a third, maybe a fifth of their audience, which, people with beefy PCs or with the current gen hardware, PS5 and the Xbox Series systems. So, everybody else who, almost everybody who has a PS4 line system or, an Xbox One line system or, a normal PC for this time, an acceptable PC, are not running it well. And it's not just like the frame rate is garbage.
Yeah,
it's
that's the thing. At least on PC, you could play it at low settings. PS4, this is how it plays, and you're fucked.
Yeah, the frame rate is garbage, and the amount of bugs in this game is like Skate 3 level.
And people talk about Bethesda bugs, and they're common, but they're not like
they're not like this.
They're not the entire game.
Just like physics not working properly. Like the one that I saw was like I did not anticipate the world of hilarity that I would of the rabbit hole that I was going down into and watching this woman eat her sweet potato fries. Like there's this woman in the game eating sweet potato fries, but like she has like a cone of them, like in a paper cone full of fries.
Yeah.
And it's like a solid cone, like all the fries in it are solid block.
It's like a Dreamcast era texture.
Oh yeah. And she picks one individual fry out of it, and first of all, it's waving around weightlessly in her hand. She's like waving it around like it doesn't exist. And she picks one out with her right hand, and the fry just like floats in space following her hand.
Perfect.
And then like she tries to eat it, and her like mouth like barely touches it, and it disappears.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? Do you remember that WWE, whatever it was called, 2020, that game that was buggy as shit?
Oh yeah.
I remember one scene in particular, because I think
it was last year's WWE.
Yeah. I remember one scene, I think maybe when Donkey was showing some clips, where like the bully who's harassing your character is like, oh yeah, whatever, and like knocks your lunch tray, like just like smacks your lunch tray on the bottom, but like there aren't separate items on it, so like nothing really happens. And you're like, oh, okay. That was kind of annoying, I guess.
One of the things that's really weird is like I saw like a car basically suplex a person into the ground and explode them.
Oh, this is the reverse Final Fantasy VI?
Like a car suplexed a person.
I haven't seen a car fight somebody since Fighters Megamix.
Somebody's turned into a traffic cone.
When I was playing Streets of Kamurocho, a sword turns into a traffic cone. That's incredible.
No, but a person turned into a traffic cone.
Nani?
There's all kinds of stuff. Also, the NPCs like go around in a set pattern, which is normal. They go around in a particular.
Yeah, they have lives. Take. Yeah,
but when they're taken off of that and are still in sight, like if the player can see them, they have no idea what to do. Like they just sit there and go, huh? And then they wait until you're like they're off screen to reset.
Oh, so if you stand in front of them, then they'll just like stop.
They if they veer off of their path too much, like something pushes them off.
Oh, okay.
They are very confused. They can't get back to it. They just stand there. So somebody drove through a crowd of people, and they all just stood there and looked at you
there are games from like the 90s that have people with proper pathing.
It's bizarre.
Like Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. I bring that game up a weird amount on this podcast, but yeah. That has characters that have cycles.
The biggest thing going around is that saves corrupt if they reach 8 megabits in size.
Yeah,
and,
you know what my immediate thought was when I heard that?
The Fallout glitch. Is that the Fallout glitch like on PS3?
Skyrim and Fallout 3 had like some similar shenanigans going on. I want to say Skyrim, but it could very well have been Fallout. But both of those games had a major problem on PS3.
Yeah, the save data just gets bigger and bigger to the point where it can't save.
Yeah, you have to turn the system off and back on.
It's so big it can't sustain itself. It just keeps growing exponentially. Well, this one, if you craft enough items and make your save game larger than 8 bytes, megabytes, it will corrupt and get lost forever.
Yeah, so don't speed run this
do
on your PS4.
Yeah, no, it's really bad. That's a really bad glitch, and one that they should have encountered. It's not that far off the beaten path.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody did something really weird.
Well, that's the thing that kills me. Like, QA people go looking for stuff, and
yeah.
I understand that a lot of the problem with QA is that as long as the game runs, then they'll just ignore the QA people, and then the game comes out buggy and everybody complains, and corporate's like, who would have guessed? But this is, like, unplayable by, like, just playing the normal route of the game.
That's an unacceptable bug to be launched with, because it deletes your save file, which, could have, tens of hours of gameplay on it, and that's a major customer service failure. Yeah, this is really bad, really, really bad. I've never seen anything like it, and their handling it has been very poor. This game could have used probably another year. Honestly,
yeah, we already waited this long. Like, whatever.
It could have used another year, and they launched it because of probably what they beholden to shareholders or whatever. Also, the fact that they made so many promises to hardware. There's versions, there's Cyberpunk versions of the systems out there. I feel really bad for somebody who has one of those systems. Has a tainted game. I don't feel bad to some degree because why are you buying a limited edition system having to do with a game that hasn't come out and you don't know what the reception's going to be?
And even if it worked, it would be in its worst possible state when you buy it day one.
Yeah, but
because that's just how games are nowadays. They don't fucking work right until a month later.
This is pretty bad. I mean, you can't buy it digitally still, and there are tons of disappointed people that are going to have this game for Christmas because their significant others or their family members or their family have bought it for them.
Yeah, and I feel bad for that because in that regard, where can I find a copy to get my kid for Christmas? The PS4 and the Xbox One copies are the most obvious ones to get.
Yeah, I mean they're still in Walmart.
I'll bet they are.
Technically, this game isn't out for current gen. It runs on current gen systems, but the
if you put the PS4 version into a PS5,
yeah, it's previous gen. It's a previous gen version on a.
Okay.
I don't think there is a next gen version of this. I don't think there is.
Well, I don't know, because I had heard that one thing CD Projekt Red came under fire for was giving reviewers, or was not giving reviewers previous gen version of the game, which would imply there might be a current one, because they wanted to keep that on the down low, and then the game came out and everybody got mad.
No, I'm on. They probably just didn't let them play it on the old system.
Maybe that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm on Amazon right now, which is still the where you would find it.
Yeah.
And I only see previous gen versions.
Yeah. But by the way, this is a tangent, but this is another thing that's irritating me about current gen. There's 2 games available on each system. Why would you buy a new system at this point?
I mean, there's some good stuff. I mean, the Spider-Man's an obvious choice.
That's on PS4.
And Demon's Souls.
Demon's Souls is a remake of a 13-year-old game.
Yeah, but I mean, if you wanted to get excited about something, there are 2 really good choices.
No, I know, right? But those are your only there's one game available at all. We don't even have a library. This is the worst launch I've seen for a console. There's nothing out there. The couple games that are out there are very good, but one of them works on your previous gen system anyway, and the other's a remake. And the funny thing is, the remake's the one I'm excited about, but there's 2 fucking games. That's it.
The PSP launch was really bad. The DS launch was really bad.
I remember the 3DS. The only game I saw for a while was Steel Diver.
The 3DS had a bad launch too.
But I mean,
it wasn't until Mario Kart
I can't even name more than these 2 games though. 2? Really? Is there a third game for the PS5? Oh, Godfall, which nobody bought.
Yeah. I mean, Bugsnax. You're forgetting about Bugsnax.
I am forgetting about Bugsnax.
Everybody always forgets about Bugsnax.
You got me.
I don't even know what's out for exclusive wise for Xbox. Honestly, I don't think there is anything. It's just it plays everything better. I mean that's mostly what people are buying this for. It's an upgrade to their current household. If you want like an Ultra HD Blu-ray player, which I do. Admittedly, I would love to have that. And people are buying them, to play, all the current games better, which isn't a bad reason to buy something. I mean, it's like upgrading your PC, which is, something people do. They want to play existing games better, as well as new games. So it's not a bad idea, But you are right. There aren't.
If all I can play is the games I already own, then I'll wait till the PS5 is like $200 less. Thanks.
Well, that'll take a long time. I mean,
sure it will. Yeah.
Usually, you know as well as I do. Usually, like the second half of the second year, for most systems is really good.
Yep.
And the third year is like even better.
Well, the best year is 2 years into the next gen system.
That's when you buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's when I buy one and all the games are like $20.
I tend to say this: buy it when the first revision comes out. The first major revision.
That worked very well with me for PS2 through 4, honestly.
Oh yeah, I would say the first major revision is the ultimately the best value. For most systems, because like,
and also it works better.
Well, all the kinks have been worked out. It's cheaper. It has a better, like a more sleek form factor usually. It may even have like a hardware difference that matters. Like, like on the Xbox 360, they included a Kinect port, which that's something different. So I mean, like they may even do an upgrade too. They'll have like a bigger hard drive or whatever. Or even like a slightly better performance. So anyway, we should move on though because there's plenty to talk about. So GoG, which is owned by CG Projekt Red.
Yeah, they got a real double. CG Projekt Red got a real double whammy.
People really have been saying like they ran out of all of their goodwill, which they had tons of. Like they had so many people like advocating for them on every front. Anybody who gave them a bad score or anything, they were harsh to. But now they're outraged about the game, which is kind of funny. But GOG announced out of nowhere that they were partnering with Red Candle Games, the makers of Detention, to bring back their second game to digital distribution, called Devotion. So this game was we talked about this last year when it happened, or is it 2 years ago at this point? Is it like a year and a half? It was like it was a 2019 game. Yeah, that's right. Devotion was a horror game made by Red Candle Games that had a texture in it that made fun of the president of China, comparing him to Winnie the Pooh and calling him stupid. And that caused the whole internet to rebel against them, and they took the game down off of Steam. What is it, 2 weeks after it launched, something like that?
It was something. It was a very short window.
And that was a huge shame because not only was it a good game, it was charting because it had really good streaming. Like the streaming audiences loved it. People who were watching on Twitch and all that stuff the game was doing really well and was getting a lot of exposure. And because of that little texture in the game, Chinese defenders out there of the Chinese government came out and review bombed the hell out of the game, and basically forced them these guys into hiding, like digitally. And GOG said, you know what, we're going to release this game in 2 days. Rejoice. And everybody was really happy for about 2 hours. And then GOG all of a sudden says, because of discussions because of the demand of gamers, we are deciding not to partner with Red Candle Games anymore and release Devotion.
Yeah, gamers are well known for wanting companies to delist games.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. You saw that there were whoever these bandwagon fans of the Chinese government are. I'm sure they're bots or whatever. Who are defending.
Even if they were
government.
Chinese citizens, it's like you already knew about this a year and a half, 2 years ago. Like, did this really surprise you that China would be mad?
Yeah, GOG is a major distributor of PC games throughout the course of the world, and that is how China plays its games. China plays its games on PC, so they should have thought about it. First of all, but then they shouldn't have catered. They shouldn't have. I don't know what they expected, and I don't know.
Yeah, they announced that they would host the game that Steam famously delisted due to backlash. So, like, did you not expect backlash?
Yeah, somebody in their public relations department isn't very smart or thoughtful. Because I could have told them that this was going to happen, and I, of course, want the game to come out, and I disagree completely with the censorship of it. Considering it's not even like a death threat or anything. It's just
that's the thing.
mild criticism.
What I also disagree with
parody.
is saying that gamers wanted you to take it down.
Yeah,
Go fuck yourself.
Be clear about things. Like, don't sweep it under the rug and say gamers did it. Gamers wanted it. That's ridiculous. And Red Candle Games, of course, was devastated because this was a huge game on them, and I'm sure they are financially strapped and really want to release this game in one way or another. I think there was a physical Taiwanese release of this game, if you could track it down.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. But yeah, I mean, if you want to play it, just pirate it for now. I hardly ever right out say that.
Yeah, and you really have no choice.
You really have no choice, and it's a great game, and it has nothing to do with this stuff. It was just a texture left in from development, is what they were saying. That isn't a prominent part of the game in one bit. This is ridiculous. It's overreaction on all fronts, and the people that lose out are the game company who made a great game, who made a mistake, admittedly, but they shouldn't be paying this hard for it. This censorship is way overreaching, and terrible. This isn't like, you should be able to criticize your government. That's a founding principle of freedom of speech. But
especially when it shows that it has like no. Spine isn't the right word, but it's like it can't handle this. This is like what gets it super mad.
Yeah,
there's a word for this.
It reeks of paranoia. It wants to hold on to every bit of power that it has, and so it quashes everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're gonna, like, attack another nation for, like, a Winnie the Pooh joke, maybe you deserve to be attacked if you're, like, that much of an overreactor. Like, nobody likes being insulted, but, like, on a governmental level, this is how you're coming. Like, really? That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's very beta behavior, if that's a thing. Like, like it's something that, like,
it's such an NPC behavior.
It's such a stupid thing. It's such a stupid criticism to make a huge deal about. Like I said, it's not even like a death threat
it's like overcompensation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, again, nobody should have made the insult in the first place, but, like, really?
Yeah, no, this is fucked. Moving on from that, there was a big news event here with Electronic Arts. They will be acquiring Codemasters.
Yeah, so RIP Codemasters. I can't wait for them to release one product that does not so great, and then EA closes them down forever, like it does with every other thing it touches.
Yeah, EA will fuck up what goodwill that Codemasters has, which Codemasters makes Dirt, which is an extremely popular franchise that does really well.
Yeah, and EA's you know what would get you more money if you made this next Dirt game though? If you put microtransactions in it, that would get you even more money. And then the fans get mad about microtransactions, and then EA's like, oh, the new Dirt game
don't want
do
Dirt
very well. I guess you better close down Codemasters.
Yeah, no, this is fucked. I mean, Codemasters, it started off as the people who made Game Genie, and have since moved on from making poor games for the British computer, personal computer era, and poor unlicensed NES games, except for Micro Machines. They did make that, and that was good. But they moved on to throughout the years to making really, really great racing games somehow. People are gigantic fans of them. They're also probably one of the most prominent British studios. I don't think there's anything Rare is basically almost non-existent. So I can't think of any other really prominent British console game producers. Can you think of any?
I don't know which companies are British and which aren't, so I wouldn't know anyway.
Yeah, I mean, most of the prominent European developers are French.
I was gonna mention Ubisoft in particular.
Ubisoft's the only one I can think of. There's different studios in Europe that are owned by Rockstar. I forgot about Rockstar. Rockstar is Scottish.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember being told that there's this one prominent bridge in Grand Theft Auto 4 that was just straight up a notable bridge that you would know if you've seen it in Scotland.
Yeah, so I forgot about Rockstar. I mean, they're not British. They are British.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, British is anything that's on the island of Britain.
It's the UK. Yeah.
Yeah. No. The UK and Britain are two different things. The UK is all of Britain and Northern Ireland, and Britain is Scotland, England, and Wales. Yes. That was what I learned. The United Kingdom has a slight difference.
Curious.
Because it's the island of Britain. If you think of it that way, it makes sense. But anyway, this is bad. I don't support corporate consolidation.
Well, especially EA, because like I already said, they kill anything they touch. What if we fucked up your next release? How would you like that? Oh no, the next release did poorly. Who would have guessed? Guess it's the company's fault.
I mean, EA has occasional glimmers of awesomeness, the Dead Space trilogy, the Mass Effect trilogy, which they didn't really start with.
And even the Dead Space trilogy, they started throwing microtransactions into the third game.
They fucked it up.
That was Visceral Studios, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let me see. They have the Mirror's Edge duo. You have Star Wars Squadrons more recently, which is a good game.
What else? To pick that one up.
What was that? Oh yeah, it's very. I mean, it's so cheap right now. You should get it so cheap. Go for it. You can get it for less than $20. I wonder if it did well or they're just putting it on deep sale. I don't know what's going on with that game. But everybody seems to like it in general. But then they also have the Jedi Fallen Order game, which is quite good. So, I mean, they do things well occasionally, but the Need for Speed games are always good. I don't think there's been a bad one in recent memory. Since they bought Criterion's still done good work, thankfully. But they stopped the Burnout series basically. It's just one of those things. I don't support this. This always leads to people losing their jobs too. A big game studios should should be many of them, not a few. So it stinks. Also, there was a lot of Switch stuff that happened last week. First of all, there was an Indie World showcase all of a sudden. I'm only going to go over the highlights of it. I'm not going to go over every game because we don't have the time for it. But the biggest ones were Spelunky. Both 1 and 2 are coming to Switch, which is really cool. Spelunky, the original, really basically invented the roguelike genre, a roguelite genre, rather. If without it, we wouldn't have Binding of Isaac, for instance, which made it even more popular. Enter the Gungeon, and any number of roguelite titles that we have that are amazing. So you have a lot to thank Spelunky for. It's kind of like Spelunker meets Indiana Jones meets roguelites. And the second game recently came out, so they're including both. The sequel to Super Meat Boy, Super Meat Boy Forever, which is, speaking of Binding of Isaac, by the same guy. There was the announcement of Cyber Shadow, which I was super excited for this. Did you see that?
Nope.
It was a trailer for the new Yacht Club's game. Yacht Club made Shovel Knight, so this is their first game since Shovel Knight, because they supported Shovel Knight for a fucking long time.
Yeah, that was a 3DS title at first.
Yeah, it was a 3DS title, and then moved on to every other known system to man.
Yep.
Had physical releases all the way for 3 generations,
Something like
basically. What was it? Yeah, basically. Since the Wii U, it's had physical editions, right? So.
Yeah, I remember seeing it for Wii U.
Yeah. So, yeah, really, really awesome stuff. It looks really cool. It looks like Ninja Gaiden, and it has kind of a similar palette, but not a similar art style. They're changing it up to make it look more like a really awesome NES action game. I'm very excited about this. There's a new game called Tunche by a Peruvian studio that looked like it was pretty fun. It looks like a beat 'em up. A cell phone game that's very popular, Grindstone, is coming to Switch. Happy game. This looked up your alley, Lotus. It was a survival horror puzzle game that looked really good. It has a kind of art style you would really like. It has like a creepy atmosphere to it. Genosia, which is a visual novel that has a premise that's sort of like The Thing or Among Us. You have to uncover which of your crewmates on a spaceship who is an alien imposter.
That's clever.
Yeah, so it's people were comparing it to Among Us, and I was like, that premise has been around for a long time. It's been around since The Thing from Another Planet. But
Another World.
Is that what it is?
The Thing from Another World.
Oh, okay. What was that?
No, I just repeated myself. The Thing from Another World.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard half of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I welcome a visual novel that has that kind of thing. Maybe it's you. Oh, that's.
Yeah, I mean, like you're a sleeper agent. You have no idea that you're the alien.
And also, Among Us got released on Switch that day. So Among Us is, of course, insanely popular right now, and this was the right time to release it on Switch. Boy, howdy! So that was pretty cool. Also, there was a special event on YouTube called Super Nintendo World Direct, which was pretty fun. So Miyamoto introduced everybody to the theme park that's going to be in Tokyo, the Super Nintendo World. And he just showed a lot of little attractions. A lot of it is just fun things that you could do in the park. He didn't show you any rides or anything. It was just activities that you could do to do fun things in the park, and a lot of them are animatronic and things. But you have agency, they're gamified. So that was really fun, and they also showed some of the food, which looked really delicious and fun, and cute. They had a burger that looked like a mushroom, like a 1-up mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
It looked really, really neat. it didn't super hold my attention because, like, when am I ever gonna be able to go over to Tokyo and go there? Especially
and not to mention, even if I did, well, not to mention, like, even if I were to do so, I get the feeling it would be like Disney World or Disneyland, where like you can't actually experience anything because the crowds and lines are so big. So you're just like, this atmosphere sure is cool, and I'm not doing a single fucking thing.
I was thinking about that because, like, a lot of the attractions that he showed, like, I just imagine like hundreds of people trying to do it all at once.
You're not getting in on that. There's no way.
No. Yeah, you could, the best you could do is watch somebody do it.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll Google it. It's fine.
I'll just watch Miyamoto do it again.
Yeah, I'd rather not pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to not do anything in the park, even though I'm trying to.
Yeah. Good point. And there was also new games added to the SNES and NES apps for Nintendo Online. The SNES one is far more exciting. Donkey Kong Country 3.
Yeah, it's a very good one.
Yeah, the Ignition Factor, which is an underrated, really fun fireman-themed game that's really a lot of fun. Super Valis 4, which is a really fun action game. Of course, the third sequel in that series. It's actually a really fun game. And Tough Enough, which is not good at all. It's a poor Jalico fighting game from the era that has a pretty iconic cover. It has like, "Hey dude, do you think you are tough enough?" Like, it has like this whole sentence on it, and it has like this like comic book character looking guy like screaming on it.
That's fantastic.
It has its cover is far more iconic than the actual game itself, much like Phalanx of the area.
Or like Shatterhand. Shatterhand actually looks like it's kind of a good game, but that cover is untouchable.
It is good. The NES game is not bad, actually. It is quite good. It's Nightshade. Have you ever played Nightshade?
I've seen gameplay of it where you're like a noir detective.
Yeah, you essentially the supervillain has kidnapped all of the superheroes in the city, and you're the last one left, and you're basically Batman. You're a guy in a trench coat with no superpowers, but you can deduce things. You're Batman, but in a trench coat, and it's your job to save them. It was made by Beam Software, who ended up making the Super Nintendo version of Shadowrun, which is the inspiration for the modern Shadowrun games. So there is some history there, and it kind of has a similar interface to Shadowrun would later have. So it's a fun game, released by Ultra Games, which is a subsidiary of Konami at the time. So it kind of has like it's like a point-and-click adventure action game hybrid. Has an interesting like system of like when you die, you actually get taken to like a James Bond-ish conveyor belt, and you have a chance to save yourself.
Yeah.
It had a pretty cool mechanic there. So that one's actually really fun, and I'm excited that that's on the system because I can play that, while I'm on the go. And there were also like a couple really interesting things on that popped onto the system. Like there was the Funimation app. Not a big fan of them taking over Crunchyroll, but there are famously very few video apps on the Switch. I think the only one to this date, other than the Funimation one that just got added, is YouTube. There is no Netflix, no Hulu, no Prime Video, no HBO Max.
That's
nothing.
Surprising.
Yeah, there's only YouTube. So this is kind of a big deal. They're basically the only game in town for like genuine media.
Yeah.
Like professionally made media, I should say.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And also the release of Collection of Saga, the Final Fantasy Legend Collection, which is pretty awesome. There are a lot of Saga games on the Switch now, and more are coming. It's kind of funny. But yeah, Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3 from the original Game Boy in collection form. There's also Space Invaders Forever, which is a really fantastic collection. I actually really suggest this. I'm a pretty big Space Invaders fan. I actually really enjoy playing the original Space Invaders. But this isn't the original Space Invaders. It comes with a bunch of remixed versions of the game, which is pretty fun. The first being Space Invaders Extreme, which is an all-time classic, a really great game that was on the Xbox 360 initially and the original DS. And it has a really great combo system, and it has like a thumping soundtrack. It's techno-y. It moves fast. It's not as hard as the original Space Invaders, and it's very engaging. It's like playing a very modern shooter. It's a lot of fun. I really, really recommend it. And it makes Space Invaders fun if you're bored by, Space Invaders, which I'm not, but I can understand if you are. There's also like a 4-player simultaneous, completely separate mode in that game as well. That's included. So you play with like basically the original Space Invaders, but with bosses added and other extra features. But you could have four ships on screen fighting this like big squadron of Space Invaders. It's really fun. And the final one being, this was actually the secret best thing that could have happened here, was there was a mobile-only game called Space Invaders versus Arkanoid. And Arkanoid is, of course, basically like the best version of, Breakout, that kind of thing. Paddle and ball game, busting up blocks. But it was only mobile-only, but they ported it to the Switch, and you can play with it via the touchscreen. It's really, really fun. And of course, Sephiroth came to Smash. If you want to unlock him currently and you have made the purchase, you can play a special event and have him unlock early, which is pretty fun. I did it, and it was fun. Gradius 3, our Arcade Archives, is coming to the Switch on the 24th, which is great. And let me see, we got a few more items. Sega has come out to clarify that the new Virtual Fighter thing that they're working on will be a restart with a focus on esports.
Oh, so it'll be for the 32X? That's awesome.
That version's actually really good. I actually really like that version. But yeah, I mean, they are being very coy about what this new Virtual Fighter is, but I think what they're trying to do is they're really trying to make sure that this game works well via online before they reveal much about it, is my thinking. Because Virtua Fighter 4 and 5 have been known to be amongst the most technical 3D fighters ever made, and therefore like the best, like in terms of technicality. I don't think there's anything that can that breaches it. That I haven't heard of anything. I mean, of course, you have plenty of really great 3D fighters out there. You have your Soul Caliburs and your Tekkens, but none of them, and even your Dead or Alive, are pretty fun. But I don't think any of them have been compared to Virtua Fighter 5 in terms of just raw talent of the players of it. So I think they really, really want to try hard to make sure that is evident in the newest release. Because if they botch that, it's like the thing they have going for them.
So get ready for Virtua Quest 2 on the Nintendo GameCube. I hope you saved that network adapter.
Be still my heart. I have my LAN adapter ready to go. I've never used it for anything. I just have it because... I can't wait to never use that more in the future. I bet you I could sell that for a pretty penny these days, too.
Yeah, just as a weird novelty item.
Yeah, really. I mean, I just want to have the option to play PSO, but I never will.
Yeah, I only played it offline anyway, like whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I really wanted to do, like back in my crazy days, is I wanted to buy what was it, like 8 GameCubes so I could play Double Dash.
The ultimate Double Dash experience.
Yeah, with 16 players.
It's freaking insane. Now
yeah,
you'll have to settle for trying to get people to play 10-player Saturn Bomberman.
Yeah. And that's with one system. I think what is it, Double Dash? You can hook up 4 GameCubes. Yeah, 4 GameCubes.
Because you have 4 controllers.
Yeah, and have 16 players switching on and off and all that. But that'll never happen. First of all, I don't have 16 people that would want to come over.
No, you know what we got to do is set up 2 TVs, 2 Sega Saturns, the connector
on.
Cable, and do 2-player Virtua on where we each have a separate
tease
screen.
Me. Don't tease me.
It's easy, but nobody does it because who knows another person with Virtua on?
I mean, we could play. We could do that with the modern versions of it.
Yeah, but then you can't say that you hooked up 2 Sega Saturns.
It's true. we could just do it on like the PS4 because there was a Virtual On collection.
Yep.
But whatever. But yeah, I just think this. I hope they reveal it in time and it's well baked, which I think it will be. I think that's why Sega's being coy about it, because they want to make sure that it's good and ready before they debut it, which is smart.
It is smart, but remember, the last Virtua Fighter we had was PS3. It's been a while.
Yeah. The updated version of 5 Showdown?
Yeah, like Final Showdown, yeah.
Yeah. Also, there is a Raiden Mikado remix, Raiden 4 Mikado remix crossover game. I don't know what Mikado is, but Raiden 4 was a great shmup for the Xbox 360 and PS4 or PS3. They announced that these 2 games are being remixed and put on the Switch, so that's really awesome. I just wanted to quickly mention that. Also, they are continuing to support fan WADs with Doom and Doom 2 through Bethesda's newest versions of the original Doom and Doom 2, which I honestly really love what they've done with that. I mean, it doesn't have the customizability of Z-Doom, but it really gives a really good player experience. If you like picking WADs off of like an actual screen, in-game screen, is something that I always wish I could do with Doom, and Z-Doom can't do that. You can kind of scroll through ones that it detects, but you can't play just any of them off the shelf really easily, and you also have to find which ones are good, and none of them are curated. This is really awesome. It's really cool that that they added this one in particular, because this is like basically a brand new game. They made their own enemies and stuff for it, so it's cool that they keep doing this. I mean, they've added all of the official WADs, and they also added Sigil to these versions of Doom 1 and 2. So this is really awesome. I mean, this is definitely one that I want to play. Doom 0 looks great. I don't know if you know anything about Doom 0.
No, I've heard of it, but as far as I'm aware, it's Bethesda platform only.
Oh no, Steam has the updated versions now. If you want to use,
does it? I think I checked for it, but I didn't see it. Unless it's just within Doom 2.
If you reinstall it, it asks you which version, whether you want to play like the classic one that they've always had or the new Bethesda one.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into that then.
Yeah, so you should already own it. So that's great. Moving on from that. Okay, so I have a Mr. Capable device here, which is one of those FPGA systems that is completely customizable and open source and fan driven, and it's really one of the best devices I've ever used for classic gaming. It's so freaking accurate. I think they the GBA core now is literally more accurate than a GameCube using like the fan-made software that's supposed to make that better. So like you can play this as good as a real Game Boy Advance now, which is really awesome. But they added the Capcom Play System Dash games to this. So CPS1 games are pretty famous because that included Street Fighter 2, and like a lot of other great Capcom games were CPS1 games, including Final Fight, I believe. Let me double check that. CPS1. Yeah, there we go. Forgotten Worlds, Ghouls and Ghosts, Strider, like huge amount of these. Dynasty Wars, Willow, UN Squadron, Final Fight Pang, 1941, Mercs, Mega Twins, awesome titles. Mega Sword, Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, all those Street Fighter versions, 2 versions. Then they made what was called a CP System Dash, which is a slight upgrade to it. This one is where a lot of these games have not been ported, and they're really, really fun. And a lot of them have licensing issues, so having accurate representations of these games is really awesome. So, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which is a really fun beat 'em up.
Yeah,
You ever played that one? Yeah. It was really good. Warriors of Fate, which is the sequel to Dynasty War. So this one's going to be on the Capcom Stadium arcade. We talked about that recently. The Punisher, which is another awesome beat 'em up that we'll never get a port of. Saturday Night Slam Masters, which is an awesome game, and we've never gotten that a port of that that has been arcade accurate. Just the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions of that, so that's really, really awesome. And then Muscle Bomber Duo, which is like a sequel to Saturday Night Slam Masters. Muscle Bomber is the Japanese name, and an awesome
That's a badass name.
The first Saturday Night Slam Masters, the Japanese name is Muscle Bomber the Body Explosion.
Nice.
So, Muscle Bomber Duo Heat Up Warriors, which is a slight upgrade. Now, everybody really wants the CPS2 games, but this is great. This is Hotego has been working on these cores and getting them super, super accurate. But CPS3 is where you have stuff like Ego Fighters, the Dungeons and Dragons game, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is basically the ultimate version of Street Fighter 2. Alien vs. Predator, all the Street Fighter Alpha games, X-Men, Children of the Atom, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Cyberbots, Mega Man, the Power Battles, those games, 19XX, like just tons of really awesome games. Mars Matrix, Giga Wing, so tons of really, really awesome gems. All the Darkstalkers games as well. So everybody's really looking forward to that, which should be. He's working on it. So the work that he did for the CPS Dash core is certainly helping him with this. So, and you of course know some of the CPS3 games that will not be coming to this, but you remember the CPS3 games, right?
I don't remember which is which.
Oh, CPS3 has very few games. It has 6 of them. 3 of them being 3 different versions of Street Fighter 3.
Okay. Oh yeah, and like that Red Earth / Warzord game.
Red Earth is literally the only game that's ever been ported. And there are 2 more games which you are intimately acquainted with.
Well, one of them's JoJo, right?
Both of them are JoJo, yes.
Okay, the Heritage of the Future and like JoJo's Venture, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody's really, really excited for CPS Dash. I played a little bit of Punisher today, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that. I didn't see that one a lot in arcades, so it's a treat to play it. Same thing with Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. You don't see that one in arcades very much at all. I think the only one I've ever seen it was 8 on the Break. When we used to go to that one in college, occasionally. And also, we've been talking about Thomas Wave's games getting directly ported to Dreamcast recently. They did one recently, I think it was like Sega Clay Shooting or something like that, but it has no controller mode, so you're SOL if you don't have the ability to use light guns. But they have started porting the games that run off of modified hardware for the PlayStation, arcade games that were modified PlayStation games, the Tekken games ran off of basically modified PlayStation hardware, and Soul Blade did, like a few games like that. They ported Tetris the Grandmaster, the original one, to PlayStation. So that's really, really cool. You know Tetris the Grandmaster, right?
No, I mean, there's 1,000 Tetris games, and they're all called something like that. So
Tetris the Grandmaster is famous for being the craziest series of Tetris games that pros play.
That's the one with like the insane credit sequence where you just can't see the blocks
Correct.
anymore. Yeah, I saw that speedrun at GDQ. It's like, that is impossible.
Yeah, so that's Tetris the Grandmaster 2. So they're on their way. Tetris the Grandmaster 1 is not too shabby either. These games are for the most elite of Tetris players. They get way up there in terms of challenge. Tetris the Grandmaster 2 is considered to be like the ultimate challenge for Tetris players. I just thought that was awesome. And also there was an unreleased Simpsons game found for the Dreamcast on development hardware called Bug Squad.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's wild.
It does not your character does not look like a Simpsons character. He's very out of place, but in the surroundings look really good. Basically, what it is, I saw a video of it. It's basically a tech demo. So a company made the kitchen as well as the living room of the Simpsons in cel shaded form to show what the Dreamcast could do and what they could do on the Dreamcast, and it actually is really good looking, especially for the era. If you bought a game and it looked like that, you would be very happy with it. It looks like the Simpsons kitchen and their living room, so it's really cool. But nothing really. It's more interesting than anything. It's not a game per se. And finally, I just quickly wanted to mention I did see the Mandalorian season finale. I'm not going to spoil it like the rest of the internet is, but I just want to say how much fun I thought it was. I really, really enjoyed it, and I hate that I have to wait another year in order to see the next season. But I insanely recommend The Mandalorian. It's just gotten better. I thought the second season was amazing. And they're doing like a lot of lore stuff recently, and they brought back a lot of really cool characters. So I thought it was just a ton of fun. And I hope to see more Monster of the Week episodes, because that's actually my favorite part. I really, really like when he just goes and does a bounty. It's a lot of fun. But this season was really, really great and had some really great moments. Bill Burr did an amazing acting job. Bill Burr was a side character in one episode in the first season, and then he reprised his role in the second season, and he did a fantastic job in that second season episode. It's probably might be the best episode of that season. It's really, really good. Not only that, but it delves into how a stormtrooper actually, the humanity of the stormtroopers, which is never explored, hardly ever.
I was gonna say they touched upon it for The Force Awakens, and then just dropped it even when Abrams reprised his directorial control of like Rise of Skywalker. They just dropped it.
It's addressed in extended media.
I've read a little bit of that. Yeah,
it's addressed in the books and the comics and in Clone Wars, but it's never addressed in the live action stuff. And the most they ever did was Finn's weak arc in the
there was The Force Awakens, and there was that one very brief side conversation in A New Hope where Obi-Wan distracts the two guys. What was that? Probably another drill. Like that. That's it. That's all you get. Well,
this was the very first time that, and the best time I've ever seen it done. Like it was emotional. It was great. It showed the anger of having to be part of the Empire. And having to serve it. It was a really, really great episode. I can't recommend it enough, and it's a family-friendly show too. On top of that, it's a show that anybody can watch and have a lot of fun with. And furthermore, like your parents can watch it and have fun with it too. It's not impenetrable, like a lot of other like nerdy things can be. You need to know a lot of backstory or whatever. Yeah, it delves into adding lore and fun things about it, but it's really fun on its own too. That stuff only enriches it. So I really super recommend it. Anything else that you wanted to mention, Lotus? While we still have the chance to talk about it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, that will be the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and Soundcloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness. We will have a nice exploration of our relationship with Spider-Man, the character of Spider-Man. And finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much everything.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
Still one of the best Patreons that I've ever seen, honestly.
Oh, thanks.
No, I'm not even just like pumping you up because you're one of my best friends. You just pump out so much content. Like I don't know of anybody else who just does that on their own. Like I know teams of people that do it, but I mean, how many videos do you release a week?
When I'm Let's Playing, let's say 7. Yeah. No, let's say 9, because like during a Let's Play I have 1 per day, plus the streams on Monday and Wednesday. When I'm not Let's Playing, it's just the streams.
Yeah, but you do the streams and you do the 2 podcasts. I mean, if you include what you do here.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, the sheer
like,
amount
on my channel, like the 10-second trailers, I guess you could count those if you really want to, but I'm not going to do
that. What I'm saying is meaningful content that you produce on a weekly basis is through the roof, and people really are getting their money's worth out of the Patreon as well. So your streams are a lot of fun. You have a really great group of people to hang out with. You have a really good fan community. So
yeah, really
it is worth every penny. There's not a jerk in the bunch. Like everybody's really, really good people. So I really recommend joining Lotus's Patreon. All right. So I'm sorry.
No, I just said thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. Well earned. We will catch everybody on Thursday for another wonderful Corrective Consciousness episode, and we'll talk about that web slinger. Somebody call for web slinger.
Until next time, everyone.
My spider sense is tingling.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you.